Hello there, Virgos. Welcome to your May 2017 spiritual advice reading. So I mentioned to the other signs, one of the reasons why I feel the need to do these readings is because I feel like 2017 has been a very, very disruptive year on an energetic level, like locally and also globally. And so I feel that it's almost like halfway through the year. So it's a really important time for us to take stock, take a step back, as well as to figure out, where we've been, where we're headed, and what we ultimately want to achieve. And for you guys, I feel like you will appreciate this mainly because you are a very end goal oriented type of sign, and you are also very process oriented. So you want to be efficient. You want to do things in a very clear, objective, and a strongly directed manner. So it's really important for you overall. Like you go through life making checklists, right? And you cross off the things that you've already done, and you also devote the time, prioritize the things that you need to do. And so I feel that, every once in a while taking stock is just something that comes innately to you. And that's why a lot of you are very, very successful overall. And so having said that, that's pretty much the preface for this reading. That's pretty much my objective, okay? So let's just talk about in terms of the spiritual advice that's coming through for you. And let me just say this. I feel that this month deals heavily with communication. And it could still be the residual energy of that Mercury retrograde that we have experienced in the month of April. It's going to continue until May 3rd. And so one of the things that I feel coming through here is, you are generally a very straight shooter. And that basically means that when you communicate very, very well, very effectively. You are very verbose and very eloquent. And you get your point across in few words, okay? Geminis, they're also ruled by Mercury, but Geminis are a little bit more scattered and a little bit more long-winded. And they might require multiple tries to be as concise and to be as articulate as you are. And so the thing coming through here for this cycle in terms of spiritual guidance is for you to be very, very careful about communication. Okay. And I feel that generally, like I said, you communicate well, but in situations where you feel emotionally hurt, where you feel someone is not being fair to you, where you feel like you have suppressed, anger and resentment for a really long time, you know how to lash out. And when you lash out, you know how to cut down a person. So you aim for the mark, and you know where to strike them. You know where they're vulnerable. You know what to say to hurt a specific person. Okay? And so because of this energy, I want you to be very, very careful and really think about what your objective is, what you're trying to achieve. And to be very clear as well that, whenever, step away from situations, whenever you're operating from a space of hurt feelings, of anger, feeling misunderstood, feeling an injustice has been done to you, or feeling frustrated, okay? So when these big emotions take over, it's important for you to take a step back and not react because you're so concise. You know how to hit your marks, and I feel that you know how to hurt. And so my advice overall is, slow down a little bit, okay? So that's the first thing. The other thing that I'm seeing overall is that, and this is similar to the Sagittarius mid-month reading that I did last month. So for the mid-April reading, I feel that you are a wielder of secrets. Okay, a lot of people, they trust you. They entrust you with their secrets. They come to you for advice. They come to you for guidance. And you give people a lot of advice, a lot of advice, and they don't follow it. They don't, whatever reason, they come to you, and then it's like water off a duck's back. It just bounces off them, and they continue doing things in their own way. And as a result of it, they see calamity and just breakdowns in their own lives. And so because you wield all these secrets and you wield so much wisdom and power, you see things almost like with a bird's eye view. You know, you're just like, if you go this route, this is going to happen for you. If you, on the other hand, take this other route, here's what's going to happen. So you have a lot of insight into human, incentives, human motives. You have a lot of insight and wisdom to guide yourself and others to a place of safety, to a place of, for their greater good. And so keep in mind, as somebody, as the sign that's meant to be of service to humanity, you have all these secrets, and sometimes people energetically, they're not where you want them to be in order to really, take the advice to heart. Energetically, financially, just spiritually, they might not be at the right moment yet to listen to what you have to say. And so if they're not energetically where you need them to be vibrationally, they're not there to heed the warning signs, to heed the advice. I feel that you have to, learn like loving detachment, and you have to communicate to the point where you understand at a baseline level where they're at, so that you can communicate in a way that allows them to allow that message to really sink in. I feel that you are grown impatient this month, mainly because it's taxing, having to repeat yourself. And a lot of the times you explain yourself really, really well the first time. And if somebody doesn't get it the first time, it means they weren't listening. And so that really frustrates you, to have to devote the time to help somebody, to explain a situation or to explain something that happened. And then the other person was inattentive and they didn't listen to it the first time. So I feel like that's going to be one of the major things you're dealing with for this month. And so be very patient with others, okay? Be patient with ourselves, be patient with others. And just know that I feel some people around you, they're trying to get ahead in life, and they've been battling their own demons, trying to get ahead, trying to pull themselves off their own, bootstraps, trying to make a better life for themselves, trying to make better decisions overall, and trying to, just sail away from, I want to say like descent. So this is a card about, power. This is a card about like overcoming internal struggles so that, you or the other person can move forward and ahead. And I feel that you're dealing with somebody who has been very, very careless. This is the card about the Fool's Journey. Okay, so you're dealing with somebody who has a lot of lessons that they need to learn. And they've also been behaving in a very reckless and careless manner. And they have guilt. They have inner demons that they need to get rid of. They have like major important life lessons that they need to learn. And so everything that you're telling them, yes, it resonates, and yes, it makes sense. And because you are this figure here, the hermit, you're able to see the forest for the trees. You have just, by virtue of being you are from a higher vantage point. You're able to see what they're doing. You're able to, light the way for the rest of humanity to follow so that they can be as productive, as efficient, and as successful as they want to be. And so the thing here is some people are not ready to receive these messages. And no matter how much you drill, no matter how much you press, it's just not going to be coming through in the time frame that you'd hope, okay? So practicing detachment is going to be very good for you. And then on the other hand, I feel like for some of you, I just feel like there's this idea about like, I wash my hands of you, I'm done with you. You're not listening to my advice, I'm done with you. And then the other person comes back and asks you for advice. And you're like, no, I'm done with you. So when somebody is coming for advice, it's, yes, I feel that I understand where you're coming from, because it's frustrating when, it's the same problem and somebody's dealing with the same problem month after month, year after year, and you're trying to, give them advice, but they're not listening. And so I feel just be very patient. Just, you know, vibrationally, they might not be where you need them to be to, you know, take heed, okay? I also feel like with family members, and I'm picking this up based on this card. Sometimes, well, first of all, family members, they know how to push our buttons and we know how to push theirs. Okay, so be lenient with family members, mainly because there's so much history, there's so many things that have happened between us and family members that we don't know how to be objective. So being objective with family members, treating them more like strangers, and then, you know, going from there and give them the benefit of the doubt, I feel like that's important. It's really hard to detach with family members, but I feel that you're going to need to. And then I also feel, you know, this is a card about generosity. So when we're offering advice, and we want to offer it without strings attached, without having specific conditions, without having, you know, ulterior motives, and especially without having any type of, without injecting ourselves into their shoes, because I feel like the person needs to hear the message, that hear whatever is appropriate for them, okay, in that present time frame, all right? So I feel overall, I don't feel like it's going to be a heavy month for you guys, but just be very careful with communication, okay? Be careful about, you know, giving from the heart, I feel is really important, okay? When we give from the heart, we can do no wrong. And if the other person chooses to listen, great. If the other person appreciates, great. If not, move on. Okay, so learning to give from the heart without strings attached, without expectations, that's going to be very important for you guys, okay? So best of luck, Virgos. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.